into central parts of England, but still some quite blustery showers here. Longer spells of rain eventually pushing into Northern Ireland and pushing northwards into Scotland, though we could start to see some sunshine by the afternoon, particularly across central areas of England and Wales, but once again can't rule out some showers. Not feeling quite as cold as it did last week, but in brisk winds, definitely feeling chilly, highs reaching between 10 to 12 degrees Celsius across parts of the south. Into Monday, it is going to be another cold start, a return of the brisk northerly winds, which is going to make things feel that little bit chillier. Still some showers, but once again mainly around exposed coasts, so many inland areas will see some sunshine, and lots of sunshine across the country on Tuesday too, but feeling cold once again with some overnight frost likely, and feeling cold during the day as well.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you can enjoy Christmas on us. First, we'll give you an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash. Then we'll give you a further £10,000 cash to spend on all your Christmas presents, even the tree. Christmas lunch, that's on us too, with £1,000 in shopping vouchers to spend at your favourite supermarket. Finally, a GB News Christmas goodie bag. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB17 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel. Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akua, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. It is still Saturday night, and this now is the Saturday 5 Extra, the UK's biggest Saturday night TV show. I'm Dr. Renee. I've got Will Kingston next to me. Cressida has now moved into Alex's seat. We have Trey and Kai at the other end. We try and pretend they're not here. But tonight on the show,
our favourite moments from the past week with our high fives. No prizes for guessing what mine is.
And we are going to see COP30 in Brazil going up in flames.
Don't miss your chance to ask us anything in Ask the Five.
Because you and your family live completely off-grid.
And it's Saturday Night Beaver. Yes, they're being released to more parts of the UK.
It's 8 p.m. and this is Saturday 5 Extra. So welcome to the Saturday 5 Extra, everybody. And of course, we really do want to know your views as well. So can you send your views and post your comments by visiting gbnews.com your say. And please don't forget to get your Ask the 5 questions in. Put Ask the 5 before them, because we still need a few more of those. No topics are off limits. But before we start tearing each other apart, it's your Saturday night news with the lovely Bethany Elsey.
Good evening. Your top stories from the GB newsroom at 8:01. Sir Keir Starmer has held phone calls with Volodymyr Zelensky and Donald Trump to discuss the US peace plan for Ukraine. At the G20 summit in South Africa, the Prime Minister and 12 other world leaders agreed that the 28-point proposal needs more work. Discussions are expected to continue in Switzerland tomorrow. The plans would see Vladimir Putin walk away with full ownership over the Donbass regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, as well as Crimea. Donald Trump has given Volodymyr Zelensky until Thursday to decide whether to approve the plans or risk losing weapons and intelligence. The Prime Minister says Ukraine should have the final say.
One of the elements in the 28-point plan is the security guarantee from the US, an Article 5 guarantee. That's about the strongest guarantee that can be put forward. And so that fortifies in me the belief that what we're all trying to achieve here is a just and lasting peace, but it'll only be just and lasting if there are security guarantees and if we bear in mind that matters for Ukraine are always to be determined by Ukraine.
At least 90 people have been arrested at a Palestine Action protest in central London. Around 100 people turned out for the demonstration and were met by several hundred police officers. Those carried off said that the action was to support the right to protest, as well as free speech and supporting Palestinians. Meanwhile, in Gaza, at least 20 people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes and more than 80 are injured. That's despite a ceasefire supposedly still in place. The 3 strikes hit residential areas. The owner of the Daily Mail is in talks to buy the Daily Telegraph and its Sunday sister title for £500 million. The Daily Mail and General Trust says it has entered exclusive negotiations with Redbird to finalise the terms of the transaction. The Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy will review the potential new deal. The former Prime Minister Boris Johnson has dismissed an inquiry report that found chaos in his government cost more than 20,000 people their lives in the first wave of the pandemic. The COVID inquiry found Mr Johnson presided over a toxic and chaotic Downing Street culture that undermined efforts to respond to the virus. Baroness Heather Hallett's report accused Mr Johnson and his government of not taking COVID-19 seriously and being too optimistic in the early months of 2020. He hit back, though, branding the inquiry that he set up hopelessly incoherent and that those in government at the time were doing their best. And Australia have beaten England by 8 wickets in the first Ashes test in Perth. England captain Ben Stokes admitted he was left shell-shocked after Australia crushed his side in just 2 days. That's the fastest Ashes defeat in over 100 years. You're up to date. More for you in an hour's time.
Take the GB News family with you on any device. As long as you have an internet connection, tune into GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Saturday 5 Extra. Now, I would like to say that we can't have any more cricket talk, but I wonder if that's going to stick. It was enough that we had to listen to it in the news. But anyway, it is now time for you to have your say in Ask the 5. We've got a question via email from John. Nigel Farage has said that the Ukraine peace deal is unacceptable and Sir Keir Starmer has concerns about it. Should we trust Trump?
No. There we go. We can move on.
I think on this one, I'm going to agree with you. I've always been very critical of Ukraine and the amount of money that we're sending over and people dying week after week. I would like nothing better to see an end to this. Yeah. But a deal where they have to cede even more land than they've actually currently, given up to Trump, that they have to limit their army. I think it's suicide for Ukraine, and I think it's wrong.
But it's some peace, isn't it? And I feel like it's a step in the right direction.
That's never been the bar, guys. And Trey said this before. just to get some level of peace. That is not what the Ukrainian people want. It's not what the Europeans want. And I'd imagine, actually, is probably not what some of the you know, it's just not feasible.
And lots of Ukrainian men, especially, that are trying to avoid the draft. And I think they do want peace. At least we can start.
I'm not surprised.
There. At least just bring some...
But no, it's not start anywhere. It's not start at any cost, Trey. And that's what you're saying. And that's
the
what
alternative is to let Russia keep on grinding out victories slowly.
But you assume, but they're not.
Actually are.
No, they're actually
They are
not.
grinding out victories.
No, they're not.
Currently, over the last 3 months, they got 0.1% of the land that they've got. They are coming to a halt. They are in a very poor position now.
Look, Russia has got way more resources in Ukraine. They're not going to stop. They're going to throw more and more men at it. People are dying needlessly.
They're going to run out of men.
What's the end goal?
Yeah.
Right? I would like to at least see an end to people dying. Let's start there. And then they can negotiate.
Let's give them all of Ukraine then, Trey.
I'm not saying give them all of Ukraine, but you never know.
That's the
it
effect
might
of what you're
go
saying.
back to Ukraine at some point.
But you
at
would
least stop the war.
If we gave all of Ukraine to Russia, you'd say, well, at least we got peace. We started somewhere.
I'm not saying give it.
Kai, it's got nothing to do with what we want. I want a gold-plated toilet seat. It's not on the cards.
Why?
It is a
King Willie. It's an expression which I've actually never really thought through as much as I should have.
It'd be difficult to get in the toilet, wouldn't it? Heavy.
That's not the point. Well done. But fair enough. I think that's a fair challenge. The point is, you're never going to beat a nuclear armed power that has 3 to 4 times the size of the population and who doesn't care about throwing more and more of their young, poor men into a neck grinder. You're just never going to win that battle. That's the sad reality.
And it'll be a war of attrition. It'll just be a Pyrrhic victory at best. What can you do?
Oh, well, it's you and me, Kai, against this lot. So anyway, let's move on swiftly. We've got a question via email from Sarah. Do you believe Elon Musk when he says humans won't need to work in 20 years? Well, I don't. I think the problem with that sentence is the word need, because I think that humans do need to work, because I think they need social contact, they need money. I think that he's right in that there won't be jobs for them.
Yeah, but what he said was interesting, because he said that work would be optional, right? And that it wouldn't really matter much because the things that the average person would have, because of advances in healthcare and AI, would mean that the average living standard is increased. I don't buy that. OK? Because in the world we live in quite an extractive economy where people like him can accrue vast amounts of capital to live well. Well, there are plenty of people suffering. We've talked about homeless people.
Elon's not worried.
The system we live in won't mean that everybody's standards are just increased.
But even if it did, human beings are just naturally going to drift towards a hierarchy, right? So if everybody gets brought up to a certain standard of living, there'll still be somebody who's entrepreneurial and who will beat everybody else. And so people will want to work.
I agree with that. I also think it just misunderstands how large corporates work in that they move incredibly slowly. Even if the technology gets to a point where that is possible, a Barclays or, you know, a Tesco or wherever, their internal systems and processes are so cumbersome that it takes... The problem isn't necessarily the speed of technological change, it is the cultural change in businesses that's the issue.
It'll take a lot longer than we actually think. But, you know, it reminds me a little bit of...
People have been very well primed to not work.
It reminds me when people say, you know, like, in the 1920s, what do you think the future's going to be like? It's going to be flying saucers everywhere. I think you're right, Will. I think in 10 years, not much will necessarily change. I think it might take 50 years before that happens, but I don't think it'll be something that's better for people. I think people should work on something.
All of you are wrong on terms of the predictions, and it's not just coming from Musk. The predictions on the jobs that are going to go to AI. I mean, if I were a radiologist now, I probably won't have a job or wouldn't have a job in 2 years' time.
That is true. There's undoubtedly a huge amount of jobs that are going to be displaced and are being displaced by AI. That's true.
Yeah, but I also do think that some of those predictions... And Will is completely on the money here, and Trey, actually. These techno-optimists, these Silicon Valley types, don't understand what happens when the sort of hyper-optimistic vision of what tech could do in an ideal world in their brains meets the hard reality of most people's lives. And the fact is, in most parts of Wales, you still can't pay for a taxi with a card, right? That's the simple fact.
Wales.
Tech takes time.
Can I go off-grid in Wales?
You can, you should.
It's compulsory.
There might be a backlash against tech.
OK, so I hope you guys are right. I don't think you are, but I hope you are. We've got a question now from Robin. Would Shabama Mahmood make a good Labour leader?
Yes.
No.
Well, she's blown it, hasn't she? Because she's upset at least half of the party with her migrant rhetoric, so she's blown it anyway.
She has. She's upset half of her party. And I think she's still got this sneering tone. I don't think she's really committed to the ideas, as significant as they are. She's still having this phrase where she talks about having a Great Britain and not a littler England, which I just find so sneering. What does she mean by that?
No, I think what she means is that she's trying to reclaim this ground where she's got sensible ideas about migration without a lot of the hate-filled rhetoric, and I think that's the right way to do it. I think she shows more leadership than almost anyone else in that party at the moment. And I'm not that I agree with everything. I think some things that she's proposing are unworkable, but at least she's trying to tackle it.
Number one, it couldn't get any worse. Number two, the fundamental issues are the policies. But I will say she has more gravitas than both Starmer and Reeves.
But she still isn't overloaded with personality, is she? There's something about you. I don't look at her and think, I like you. I think you're speaking my language.
I gave up expecting greatness from our politicians sometimes.
Well, exactly. You've got to lower the bar when it comes to personality.
We haven't heard from the Labour chap at the end.
Oh, how could that be? Yeah, she'd be a good Labour leader if the time came.
Oh.
I think she's very serious and she gets the issues, which a lot on the left, a lot of people on the left sort of don't want to see the issues. And I think this week, yes, it was just politics. It was lots of it was for show. It was good showmanship. But more importantly, I think it shows that she gets it and most people don't.
OK, so we now have a quick question here. Oh, who is this one from? It's from Joanna via email. If you could instantly master one skill or talent, what would it be, Will?
Golf.
Spanish.
Yeah, something musical. Piano, that's glamorous, isn't it? I think that would be lovely.
Racing driver, full speed, I'd love that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Television commentary.
Good luck with that, mate.
But a lot of good that'll do me.
Very good. OK, our next question from Michael via email. Is it a priority for the taxpayer to fund breakfast for children so the parents can have a coffee or get a bit of me time, or is it state overreach and lazy, selfish?
Oh, I've got to answer that one because I'm a parent and that's why I don't get much sleep whatsoever. I think that's a great idea. It's not lazy. I can't believe how hard it is to look after a little one. You disagree with me, Dr. Renee?
I don't think it's hard, but I don't think someone else should do it for me. I think my job as a parent is to feed my child in the morning, and that's what I do.
I agree with that a little bit, but actually, and I raised this Ask the Five because I think it's important. This is one of the most consequential decisions the Labour government's done so far, because it does mean that working parents, have a bit of time to getting to work, doing work, getting your kids ready for work, all that stuff. To gain some time back is really important for productivity, if nothing more.
The amount of time it takes them to make breakfast compared to all the other parenting stuff, it's just a drop in the ocean, isn't it? And I agree with you, it's not for the state to feed your child.
And
That's
also,
part of parenting.
even worse about this, these breakfast clubs are funded and contributed to by Kellogg's, Greggs, Pepsi Cola. They're just being fed rubbish to groom them to be future consumers.
So that bit is not good, but I think you guys miss out something else. There's a lot of isolated parents out there, and the fact that they're potentially around other parents, it's not a bad thing.
They're getting parents.
I think they just
go to the breakfast club.
send the kids off.
Yeah, but dropping them off, you're meeting them.
Well, they have to drop them a school tray.
I'd love a free sausage roll.
Anyway.
This is my direct plea. Greggs, I would love a free sausage roll.
If animals could talk, which species would be the rudest and why?
Sorry?
Beavers.
No, beavers are wonderful animals. They wouldn't be rude.
Oh, yeah,
they're all...
Can we not just have cats, all of them?
Lions, I would say, because, no one's going to tell them anything. They're completely rude.
The rudest.
Honey
honey badgers.
Honey badgers.
Honey badgers.
Oh, God, you would have to have a lot of beeping of what would come out of them.
Yeah. Camels are pretty rude as well. But anyway,
I was going to say that. Ostriches.
On that high note, there's only a few weeks left until Christmas. Time is running out for you to enjoy it all on us. That's £40,000 in tax-free cash, £1,000 to spend in your favourite supermarket, and a fantastically festive GB News goodie bag. And the best news of all, you're going to get it all in time for the big day when Santa comes. Make sure you don't miss out, and here's all of the detail you'll need.
There's just 33 days until Christmas, and it's the final week to see how you can enjoy it on us. That's £30,000 in tax-free cash to make 2026 fantastic. A further £10,000 cash to spend on gifts for all the family, the tree and decorations. £1,000 in vouchers to buy a slap-up Christmas lunch at your favourite supermarket. And finally, a GB News Christmas goodie bag. Plus, we're going to get it all to you in time for the big day. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB17 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 8th of December. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Coming up next, guys, could you live off-grid?
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breast cancer is the most common cancer in the UK, and over a lifetime, 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer. It's mostly affecting women over 50. As you mentioned before, it does affect a small proportion of men, less than 1%, but still there is a potential risk. The good news is, if caught early, survival is excellent due to improved treatments and new drugs. So 99% of women and men survive for more than 5 years if caught early. And overall, the breast cancer survival rate is about 85%, which is fantastic. It's important to know that you have to check. Women have to learn to check their breasts. So if you notice anything different, dimpling, change in shape, a lump, go and get it checked out. Even though survival rates are much improved, we do have less survival here compared to other countries. So, for example, in America, 90% of women will survive over 10 years if they're with breast cancer. So it is important to get checked out just as soon as you notice any changes whatsoever.
Why is there that difference, Lucy, between, say, us and America, for example?
Well, the UK lags behind generally in cancer survival, 10 to 25 years, they estimate, over a range of cancers. That includes prostate, ovarian, lung, breast and bowel cancer. And there could be a number of reasons, but I think part of the problem, the NHS is great when you get to the front of the queue, isn't it? But it's actually getting there.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk then? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up? About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. So this is the Saturday 5 Extra. I thought I'd just read you some of the comments. I thought this one was funny. Will and Renee, get a grip. That journalist was trying to hog all the questions, and Trump, in his hilarious way, was saying, give the others a chance to ask a question. I hadn't thought of it like that.
Yeah.
That's quite an interesting comment. So get a grip, Will.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, quiet, piggy. He's woking on the end.
Cressida, Joanne says, cheer up.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Don't worry, it's not quite as bad as some of the comments I've had tonight.
Yeah. I don't doubt it, Carl.
I
don't doubt it.
Chris looks nice and cheerful.
Thanks.
So there is somebody, Paula wants to defend Grumpy Grandad because we've insinuated that now Grumpy Grandma is online too, or that he's transitioned. And Paula says, I hope Grumpy Grandad is on here so he can defend himself.
Him or herself, please have some respect for Grumpy Grandperson's pronouns.
OK. So, There is, guys, a brand new way to take part in the conversation by becoming a friend of GB News for free. Take a look.
Join the community and be part of our shows by becoming a friend of GB News. Get a direct line to join the conversations that you hear us talking about every day in our programmes by commenting on Your Say and voting in You Decide polls. Access opinion, analysis and behind-the-scenes videos as we share more from the stories that you see on TV and radio. Plus, watch our shows live and on catch-up anywhere, anytime. If you love our channel, become a friend of GB News for free by scanning the QR code or going to gbnews.com/friend. Don't just watch our programmes, come and be a part of them.
Welcome back, everybody. We were still arguing in the break. It's unbelievable. But anyway, on to something far more sensible with a very sensible guest. A British-Australian couple went to live in Italy to live off-grid in rural Italy are in shock after an Italian judge seized their 3 children over health concerns. The parents, who homeschool, they grow their own food, they generate their own electricity, say that the authorities targeted them for choosing a different lifestyle. Despite local support and an online campaign backing the children, they were placed into a care facility. The family obviously says they're going to appeal the decision and fight to reunite their children, but this kind of thing is so damaging to children, however short the period is when they break up a family. So to discuss this, I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome psychologist Emma Kenny.
Thanks for having me.
Emma, thank you for coming on. Obviously, you and I know each other, so there's, cards on the table. And we often talk about this drive. Lots more people want to live off-grid now, and this family had been doing it quite successfully for nearly 5 years. What do you think is driving people to actually want to slim down their life and live like this family?
People aren't happy. There's just an enormous amount of people who just don't feel happy. They don't feel connected to the community. They don't feel that they're a part of nature. They don't feel that they can exist on the finances that they're provided with by their employers. So in the end, when you draw it down to basics, it's about the urge to feel human at a time when I think we've become less human than ever. If you actually look at society now and you look at the bedrocks about what makes us physiologically and psychologically, environmentally and emotionally at peace, we do the opposite for the most part. So people are feeling something within them that is moving them to a more natural state, just at the same time as we're being pushed further and further into a very unnatural state.
It's really interesting. Now, I looked at this family because my initial reaction when I read the story was, oh, I wonder if they're mistreating the children. And it doesn't appear that way at all. They made a mistake. They foraged for their food. They foraged the wrong food and they got food poisoning and they took their children to hospital. That's how this came to light. And I was thinking about that because if my child opened the kitchen cupboard because I'd left it open and drunk bleach and took them to hospital, I don't think she would be taken away. Do you think this is purely a judgment decision by the authorities?
Without a doubt, it's a massive overreach. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it's not great they ingested mushrooms, what they were foraging that were appropriate for them. But that's like saying that we're not giving our kids poison 24/7 just by going down our local supermarket and buying stuff with horrific ingredients in them. They're having a laugh in Europe. The idea that what's being sold on the shelves is good for us, it isn't. And the irony here is they took the children to hospital. They're primary caregivers who love their children. The children are happy with them. And the idea that you would give them this core trauma, because listen, any child who's been removed forcibly, even from an abusive parent, which is hard for people to even get their heads around, even from an abusive parent will suffer trauma because it's the experience of the primary caregiver they've already known. Yes, it's better for them to be moved in the long term. That's what we work with and work through. But when you take them from a good family, what's the message? The message is you do life our way or we'll make you do it our way. And if we're going to start accepting that in Europe and in the UK, then we're on a very rocky road. And the idea, because this is peddled quite a lot, that if children are being homeschooled, for example, it's a lot easier to get away with abuse behind closed doors. That just doesn't stick when you look at the statistics. Actually, abusive parents are abusive, whether they send them to school or otherwise. So I think it's government overreach. But there again, I think that everyone feels, particularly in the last 5 years, that there has been a lot of that. And I think that probably, to your first question that you asked, is another fundamental reason why people are choosing a different direction. It feels a little bit like, if I don't do it now, will I be able to in the future? And I think that's pushing people as well.
Yeah.
Hi, Emma. And for the record, from my cursory understanding of this case, I don't think their children should have been taken from their parents. But the one concern I would have is that they are being deprived the opportunity to build relationships with other kids and social connections and all that sort of stuff which you would get in a traditional school environment. How do you feel about that aspect of this particular situation?
Well, I had the joy of living in Northern Territory in Australia and was regularly in situations where children who lived on farmsteads, for example, wouldn't see other kids. It's as simple as that. They had the siblings. I think what is primarily important is being with primary caregivers who love you, siblings ideally who relate to you age-wise, who haven't been taught those really bad lessons, which is as soon as you hit a certain age in school, let's say you've got kids that get on really well at home, then one of them goes to high school. They don't want to hang out with the younger siblings anymore. It's not cool. They've been taught a schema that's completely inaccurate and inappropriate and actually breaks down families. So I'm not saying that I can't understand that it's important for children to be around other kids. It's primarily important. The idea that kids need a huge amount of individuals to socialise with just doesn't play out in the evidence. And more importantly, it's really sturdy, strong relationships that are friendly and connected, which you'd get in that sibling scenario with parents who care for them in the amazing nature that they bring themselves up into. And I think that down the line, they make those choices themselves. And of course, children 17, 18, 19, they can go on the merry way should they wish to. But again, I can say that having worked with people and written books on, for example, cults and things that kind of touch on cults, there are negatives, there are positives to different communities versus cults. You put cults in one direction, terrible communities in the other. Those are very small. They have people leave and they come back. And they come back because it serves the foundations of purpose, happiness, health, nurture, care, compassion, and creating a sense of community in a small group is far superior than this disconnection that so many kids feel when they go to school, such as when they encounter bullying or being taught that they're average because they don't reference memory the subjects in the way that other kids do. That's a really bad lesson as far as I'm concerned a lot of the time.
And so, Emma, assuming these kids are going to get returned, I mean, I don't know that, but it sounds like the parents haven't really done anything wrong. What are the kind of traumas that they're going to have experienced, and what can the parents do to help them now?
I mean, one of the things that I love about kids is if you explain things to them, they're pretty good at connecting with that. The most problematic thing that you're going to have now is that the world will feel vulnerable. We've taught kids a core vulnerability, and that vulnerability is these people that I've looked at, that I've admired, they're my parents, my primary carers, my role models, the people who tell me that I'm safe, they had no power. If you remove that child's sense of power in their parents, you remove their sense of the actual foundation. So that's a really big problem. So it's going to be about time, and it's also about being the state butt out, unless there is, as was noted when Rennie was talking about abuse, for example. Of course, the state's amazing in intervening then, but at this point, how do you deal with that trauma? Time, but also having those difficult conversations which says, yeah, you thought I was a bit like a god, because parents are, and actually I have my limits, and some of those limits can be really scary. So it's about honesty and communication, and also something for all of us to be thinking about right now. Because believe me, this seems foreign to a lot of us, the idea that the authorities could wrongly run into our world, destroy it for a period of time, if not eternally, should they choose to, and to not see how that could play out in other circumstances where people make individual choices. Right now, it does feel a little bit like more and more we are eroding parental strength, and that's really difficult and damaging, because we need our kids to grow up looking at us and thinking, you have our answers, I can rely on you for this. And if we're taking more and more of that credibility and power away, we're making children even more vulnerable. That's why mental health is on the floor as well in the UK. I mean, don't get me wrong, I could be on here for the next 20 hours talking about this. It's just such a massive area, but it's a message and a warning to all of us is what I'm saying as well.
Oh, Emma, you speak such sense. Your little ones are very, very lucky to have you as their mummy.
As you know, they will be homeschooled. They will not be in the system.
I know. I didn't want to say that unless you volunteered it.
I'm quite happy to volunteer that. They're out of it. My boys went to school. They did it that traditional way. I'm doing it very differently this way around.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us tonight. And I will speak to you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Emma.
OK, everybody, coming up. And now we really are going to see COP30 in Brazil going up in flames.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
It's an unsettled day on Sunday in the UK, but it's also unsettled across parts of Greece with blustery showers. Meanwhile, for the Canaries, not too bad. Madeira seeing sunny spells and plenty of settled weather for Spain and parts of Portugal, although northern parts of Portugal into the south of France there will be some rain, and it's showery across Italy, but more so for parts of Greece and Croatia, where there'll be some heavy downpours and strong winds. Very unsettled Central Med next week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. For the remainder of the weekend, it is going to be staying unsettled, a mix of clearer skies, but also plenty of showers and some quite strong winds possible in the west later Sunday through into Monday. For the time being, though, there are still going to be some spells of rain out there, particularly across parts of East Anglia, southeast England. Now, this will eventually clear away, allowing some drier spells of weather, soon being replaced, though, by some very blustery showers. At first, pushing into Northern Ireland and spreading eastwards into western areas of the country by the time we reach Sunday. So a very wet and windy start here, but for many areas in the east, mostly dry, though there is going to be plenty of cloud around, and it's still going to be quite a chilly start to the second half of the weekend. But largely frost-free. That's away from the far north of Scotland, though. More clear skies here, so it's likely there'll be a frosty start, possibly some icy patches. Mostly dry, though some showery outbreaks around the Northern Isles. But for Northern Ireland, southern Scotland, northern parts of England, a very wet start, some quite heavy downpours at times, and similar around any eastern areas of England too. Some clearer skies across Wales and the southwest and eventually into central parts of England, but still some quite blustery showers here. Longer spells of rain eventually pushing into Northern Ireland and pushing northwards into Scotland, though we could start to see some sunshine by the afternoon, particularly across central areas of England and Wales, but once again can't rule out some showers. Not feeling quite as cold as it did last week, but in brisk winds, definitely feeling chilly, highs reaching between 10 to 12 degrees Celsius across parts of the south. Into Monday, it is going to be another cold start, a return of the brisk northerly winds, which is going to make things feel that little bit chillier. Still some showers, but once again mainly around exposed coasts, so many inland areas we will see some sunshine, and lots of sunshine across the country on Tuesday too, but feeling cold once again with some overnight frost likely, and feeling cold during the day as well.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. So now it's time for High Five, where we discuss our very favourite moments from the past week. So, Will, what have you got for us?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I promise that this is not going to be an exercise in gloating, but my high five is the Ashes.
Should we move on?
I think this will be a very close series, and there will no doubt be egg on my face at one point or another. But look, this is the greatest sporting competition in the world, bar none. 148 years of history, two countries which share a history, which share values. It is just, I am enthralled whenever the Ashes is on. You know, it brings back memories of my childhood, of waking up late at night and watching sessions at Lord's or the Oval or wherever. And the fantastic thing about it is you can go to a pub and you can get a group of Aussies and a group of Brits together, and you can have beers and you can watch the cricket and have a laugh and throw some banter around. I just think it is the single best sporting competition known to man.
So all I'm going to say to this is what I said to you on the telephone earlier today. What the Brits are brilliant at is snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And if there was one test in this series that we were going to win, it was going to be this one.
I think it'll be tight. I actually do think this series will be tight. So I'm looking forward to it immensely.
OK. I'll twitch about my COP30, even though I went a bit earlier, and I'm sure that my producer wants to kill me. But anyway, you know that everybody was in Brazil. They cut down half the jungle. They flew in 20 million planes. They spent 5-star hotel stays, basically to talk about not doing all of those things. Because when they talk about not doing all of those things, they mean you and me. They don't mean them. But anyway, if there ever was a God, this happened. Oh, wow. I know we shouldn't laugh at fire, guys, but no one got hurt in this fire, OK? And it was when they were supposed to be negotiating what they're going to do next year, and it all set on fire.
How quick were they to blame climate change for the fire?
Apparently it was a microwave.
A microwave, right, OK.
Cressida,
amazing. OK, well, mine is a guy called Richard Williams from Worcestershire who's been curing his mental health problems with outdoor swimming. How cool is that? So he had a range of mental health problems. He was depressed, he was using alcohol, and then he started going, I think wild swimming is what you'd call it. So jumping basically into freezing cold water for a few minutes at a time, and this has massively improved his mood, which is great because it's not drugs, right? We don't want to hear anyone about drugs being... No, not those kind of... Not recreational drugs.
Antidepressant drugs.
Yes, exactly. It's drug-free. It's drug-free therapy. So there you go. If you're feeling down, go and jump in a pond.
It does work, actually. Even the whole jumping into something freezing. My coach, I have a coach, she always says that I should be doing cold showers, and it does make a huge difference to your mood.
Although there's research out currently that cold ice baths only work for men in terms of health, not women.
That's interesting,
quite
actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I do think that you raise a really serious point, and I think it's a great high five, because we have such a mental health problem that if we could just convince people to take up whatever it will be, you know, I'm not going to tell people to run, I'm not going to tell them to go to the gym, but whether it's just going for a brisk walk in the woods nearby or whatever it is, it's proven it works, and antidepressants, there's very little evidence that they
Agreed.
work.
Here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, sticking on that theme, my high five for this week is the Strictly star Nikita Kuzman talking about how his type 1 diabetes diagnosis has been the best thing that's ever happened to him in terms of him inspiring others. I don't know if we've got footage of this. Have we?
No.
No, we don't. But the reason why I love it as well, because, I mean, for those who don't know, I talk about it a lot. I have very, very severe tinnitus, very severe. And there was a time when it literally, the only way I could survive, I thought I'd have to end up jumping off a building. It was that bad. Whereas now I actually use my tinnitus to coach, to mentor, and to inspire other people. So it's such a good way of actually showing that what should be a disability for him, type 1 diabetes, would impact him as a dancer, because the more you exercise, the lower your blood goes. He's actually turned that round, and he's using that to actually inspire other young people that nothing should get in the way. I think it's a great high five.
It is. It really is. And the power of exercise and lifestyle on almost every disease process that you can think of is insane. You know, just walking, 10,000 steps a day increases your life expectancy quite dramatically and lowers your blood pressure.
Yeah.
It's almost as if we weren't supposed to sit in offices for 8 hours a day.
Well, isn't it? Or
Let's
on the
hope
sofa.
AI does that.
Or on the sofa.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kai, cheer us up with some beaver talk.
So, well, I did promise some Saturday night beaver. Yes, the Ealing Beaver Project has translocated one of its young females over to Wales. Maybe it's the same, maybe we don't have some footage of a furry beaver. I'm not sure if we're allowed to show that before the watershed. But this female beaver has moved from Ealing to mid-Wales to join a male beaver, I haven't heard of those before, called Barty. And the plan is for them to make a whole new family in Wales and grow the beaver population there. Isn't that so wonderful? I wanted to dive deep into beaver for this final segment, and I thought you'd enjoy that too, Will. You're partial to her.
Again, to continue the cricket theme, I'll let that go through to the keeper. I, as I say in every production meeting, am amazed how you manage to find a story about beavers every week. I had no idea that they were such an integral part of the news media landscape.
Beavers everywhere.
Well, the interesting thing is that Kai actually is talking about a story where Kai and I may go on location.
Wow,
yeah, I love
it.
You're going to transport.
A friend of mine who works for Big Zoo is maybe able to set us up with some beavers.
You've got contacts in the beaver industry.
Yeah. The beaver industry's got me, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. You're being paid off by Big Beaver.
I mean, seriously though. I mean, look
Big
at that.
Beaver's
Look,
warm embrace.
Look, that's cute, and that's an adult. So when these baby beavers come along, I want you to report on that.
They are cute, though. That's so cute.
Gorgeous.
I mean, this goes back to what we were just saying about the cold water and the mental health, doesn't it?
Take a cold shower. Are you telling our viewers to take a cold shower after a beaver story?
It's about being in nature.
It's being in nature, yeah.
And it's about our children understanding about nature. And, you know, there is so much that these animals do in the wild that we've destroyed.
So
and it's
true.
why we get flooding on farmland. And they let beavers build, you know, what do they call them?
Dams.
Dams, thank you. And things get rectified.
Admirable effort, but I'm still maintaining that was a very tangential segue.
Things get rectified. Is that what you said? Sorry, just trying to make sure I didn't mishear.
Anyway, on that note, before we go to break, I'm just going to read a couple of comments. We've got Julie Biggs says, I would love to live off-grid in a mobile home. We'll have one of those, I'm sure, next year. On a few acres,
motorhome, perhaps?
on a few acres with my horses.
Where are all the details I need?
On a few acres with my horses and grow fruit and veg, it would be heaven. I agree. I've been saying for quite a while now, especially with my friend Emma, that I'd like to live on a commune of like-minded people where we grow our own vegetables. I'll be the doctor. I'll cook food.
I would prefer that.
You know, my parents quit their jobs as teachers to move to France and run a glamping site. You know that. And I love nothing more than when I visit to go and uproot vegetables, cook some proper food, clean out the loos that all the guests have to use. It's brilliant fun. It's good to do something with your hands.
How long are you there for, Kai?
A month and a half over the summer.
So if I let you
That's
live
good.
in our commune, you've got toilet cleaning duties. But anyway, still to come, it's this week's final Trigger Tantrum. So don't go anywhere. This is the Saturday 5 Extra on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Join me, Nana Akua, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain's economy is at a crossroads.
And this budget day, every decision counts.
Taxes and rent to the cost of living.
Whatever the outcome, the GB News family will be there.
With expert analysis breaking down what it means for you.
Budget day, all day Wednesday.
Only here on the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Britain's economy is at a crossroads.
And this budget day, every decision counts.
Taxes and rent to the cost of living.
Whatever the outcome, the GB News family will be there.
With expert analysis breaking down what it means for you.
Budget day, all day Wednesday.
Only here on the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Saturday 5 Extra on GB News, and Kai just realised he was actually on a TV show and he had to sit up straight. Now it's time for Trigger Tantrums, and Cressida, you're going to take us away.
Mine is a lady reflecting on her own privilege.
I feel like if you're quiet when so many injustices are happening, not just here, but Palestine, Sudan, Congo, etc. I literally blocked my brother yesterday. I'm not speaking to my mom, my stepmom, my dad. I'm collecting them like Pokemon. But I just think that you have to stand for something, and I think as you get older or mature, you have to stand for what matters to you.
Isn't that amazing? She goes on to say that because of her privilege, she needs to stand for what matters. Will's shaking his head.
I'd be very surprised if she can stand full stop.
Well, that's exactly what the gentleman in the other half of the screen goes on to say. And he talks about privilege and that he's talking about colour and whether or not she has white privilege. And he says, if that's privilege, I don't want it.
The sad thing is how prevalent this attitude is on the left, where they can't just put political beliefs to one side and they will defriend people. They'll even cut people out of their family, like that woman, if you just happen to have a different political belief. It's very, very sad.
Yeah, it is shocking.
She's cut out her whole family.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being proud of that? I mean, if you fell out with one, you'd be a bit embarrassed, right? Oh, no, I'm collecting them like Pokemon.
What I like is how she says, oh, you know, when you grow up and you get more mature, as if that's the point at which she's reached. I mean, but Will is right. And it is a left-wing fascination. Progressive activists, when polled, show they don't have friends who have different views. That's crazy. They don't want to be around people with different views. It's really awful. It's insidious.
Changed.
I've been saying this. I've been banging on about this for months. I think it's shocking.
I mean, you don't grow if you don't, isn't it? I don't agree with you guys half the time about a lot of stuff. But I love the fact, well, more than half, 90% of the time, but I love the fact that we get to have these conversations. I think it makes you richer.
Well, on that note, why don't you have a conversation with us about your tantrum?
So my tantrum is just sums up London. It's a very irate bus driver. Let's take a look.
Apparently we're going to Kai next, so sorry about that.
Yes!
Save the best to last.
I continue to wrest back control of this show 1 minute at a time. Let's take a look at this video. You'll love it.
Bold, though, to talk about international embarrassment and all that. When you're, a vice chair of Epping Reform, when your former Welsh leader has just been convicted of taking bribes from Russia. Is that a national embarrassment?
Not really, no.
You don't think it's embarrassing to take bribes from Russia?
It is,
when you're a member of the European Parliament? Do you not?
Yes. Is he a national embarrassment? No, he's not in the same position.
Is he an
as
embarrassment to
Starmer.
Nigel Farage, his close
Probably,
ally?
but that's for Nigel Farage.
To Reform UK?
Not to me, no.
Well, you heard it here first, courtesy of my good friend Andy Twelves. Apparently, Reform councillors don't think that taking bribes from Russia is a national embarrassment.
I think this is really interesting. I think the way that you guys on the left have leapt on this is just obvious that Farage and his party are not fit to govern, when there have been some pretty awful scandals in the Labour Party.
Not taking bribes from Russia.
Oh, there's a degree of scandals.
Well, it is sort of one of the really bad things, Renee.
OK, but we've got... OK, fine.
Yeah.
We've just seen a Chinese spy case collapse. That was fine.
No.
That was fine. This government let that happen. It was fine. They're going to give the embassy to China. That's fine. But goodness me, a man who 10 years ago, when Reform didn't even exist, took bribes. That's the worst thing ever. And Nigel Farage has said it is disgusting.
Also triggered tantrums where you guys get 4 opportunities to bash the left and I get 1. So do you want to hand it to me?
I don't bash the left.
Yeah, you bash the left.
Oh, so you're backing down now, are you?
No, I think it's great. It's a brilliant clip. Thank you, Andy, for that. Keep going. Keep soldiering on, mate.
Trey, we don't have your clip. Are you able to describe yours?
Oh, we don't have our clip?
No.
Oh, God.
Oh, well.
Well, my clip is just something that sums up London. Basically, it's a Nigerian bus driver who's absolutely going at someone. He jumped in the bus, didn't pay his fare, and he's saying to him, "This is England, this is not Africa." I just thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Good on him.
It was the funniest thing. I wish we had this clip, because it's just funny. It's the kind of thing that you see happening in London all the time, and that's what I love about multicultural London.
Do you
get
think
gems
that
like
happens
this.
in London all the time?
You do, definitely. People are always trying to jump on buses and get
not
away
paying
with it all the
fares,
time.
you see.
Not
Yeah,
being
not
fair,
paying
but
fares.
being reprimanded.
Yeah. But we should do. That's what I mean. When we talk about multiculturalism, a Nigerian middle-aged man, sounds like my dad, is going to pull you up on it. Because I don't think most other bus drivers would have. They shamed him off the bus. And so we should have done it. It was great.
So he got off the bus?
You should have a culture where older people can actually tell off someone younger, and the younger person actually does as he's told. No one gets harmed, and that's that. I think it's brilliant.
I've started to tell
There's not
people
enough respect for your elders, I don't
You
think.
know when people have their phones just playing music or listening to videos, I just tell them to stop it. It really annoys me.
Oh, I do it all of the time.
Yeah.
I actually told somebody off in a chip shop the other day. I actually treated Alice after her Irish dancing to some chips, and there was a man in there playing his music really loudly. It was a tiny place, and I said to him, "Could you put some headphones on?" So what he did was turn it down. So eventually I turned to him and I said, "You know, playing it less loudly doesn't make it less rude."
Ooh.
Oh, you've got to do it.
Yeah, you do. And I think as a society, you need that, though, isn't it? Did he comply?
Yes, he did.
Well,
Perish
done
the
you.
thought. A man out there is roaming the streets crying after being reprimanded by Dr. Renee in a fish and chip shop. I love it. If only there was a camera crew.
But the thing is, people are scared, aren't they? And that bus driver, he puts himself at risk of there being
He does,
complaints.
yeah. He does, yeah. Not the complaints, I mean personal
Yeah, I'd be
safety
more worried
might
about
be an
personal
issue for him as
But
well.
that's why they're behind screens, right?
No. He came out of the screen. The guy was on the top floor.
But
he came out, went to the top floor and said to the guy, "Get off the bus."
He was very
Gave him an
brave.
earful. Yeah, he was very brave, yeah. He said, "I'm not driving this bus until you get off." And the guy got off.
You know, it always reminds me, I was in the Bahamas once with my then husband, who was very, very businesslike, and we got on a bus and he said to the bus driver, he said, "Tell me, what time is the bus back?" And the guy went, "All the time, man."
What accent was that? Oh, my God.
It was
sound like a drunken Irishman just there.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, but listen, guys, thanks to all of our guests, all of our people at home who've messaged in, and to our lovely audience for joining in the fun tonight. You sent so many messages, and they really are read, and they really are appreciated. Thank you, Will. Cressida, have you cheered up now?
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
Brilliant. Trey, thank you for sitting on the fence as beautifully.
Oh, thank you. I love my
always
fence.
do.
It's perfect.
And Kai, thank you for coming over to the right. You have come over here quite a lot.
I think these guys came over to the left today, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would.
But anyway, talking about being on the right, I'm now going to hand over to the absolutely amazing Alex Armstrong, who's been out today in all weathers, freezing his little socks off, and he's got some great footage. Don't miss it. Stay with us and stay with Alex. Alex, what have you got for us?
Well, thank you, Dr. Renee. Yes, a huge show lined up for you tonight. First of all, I've got a lot of questions I'd like to ask the establishment about this farce of a COVID inquiry. I think the litany of questions will be things you want answered too, so stay with me for that one. I'm also going to be talking about the harrowing case of a 12-year-old girl who was, of course, raped in Nuneaton by an Afghan illegal migrant. We'll be getting to the bottom of that. Shabana Mahmood says we're becoming more racist. We're having a massive debate head-to-head on that one. That and so much more. Never hear Keir. Is he jetting off again? I'll see you very shortly.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. For the remainder of the weekend, it is going to be staying unsettled. A mix of clearer skies, but also plenty of showers and some quite strong winds possible in the west later Sunday through into Monday. For the time being, though, there are still going to be some spells of rain out there, particularly across parts of East Anglia, southeast England. Now, this will eventually clear away, allowing some drier spells of weather, soon being replaced, though, by some very blustery showers. At first, pushing into Northern Ireland and spreading eastwards into western areas of the country by the time we reach Sunday. So a very wet and windy start here, but for many areas in the east, mostly dry, though there is going to be plenty of cloud around, and it's still going to be quite a chilly start to the second half of the weekend. But largely frost-free. That's away from the far north of Scotland, though. More clear skies here, so it's likely there'll be a frosty start, possibly some icy patches. Mostly dry, though some showery outbreaks around the Northern Isles. But for Northern Ireland, southern Scotland, northern parts of England, a very wet start, some quite heavy downpours at times, and similar around any eastern areas of England too. Some clearer skies across Wales and the southwest and eventually into central parts of England, but still some quite blustery showers here. Longer spells of rain eventually pushing into Northern Ireland and pushing northwards into Scotland, though we could start to see some sunshine by the afternoon, particularly across central areas of England and Wales, but once again, can't rule out some showers. Not feeling quite as cold as it did last week, but in brisk winds, definitely feeling chilly, highs reaching between 10 to 12 degrees Celsius across parts of the south.